What is going on, guys? Grave here. Today I'd like to talk about ESO in general. There's been a lot of people in the community talking about how they're concerned that the game is kind of going to go downhill now that all the layoffs have happened at Microsoft. Of course, Matt Firor leaving. And, I mean, in general, studio developers, studio heads leave. Some studios go to others, maybe just retire. So I really don't see that really happening to ESO. And plus, even one of the community managers had mentioned something the other day on one of the forums talking about ZOS has no intention of going into maintenance mode on ESO. We have more content in development on the way, both in the immediate and later down the line. And one reason I don't really see ESO going anywhere is I know you may hear people say, oh, nobody plays anymore. A lot of that's based off Steam charts. Majority of PC players play on the Elder Scrolls launcher, so they're not playing on Steam. So the Steam chart numbers are not really showing you the full picture of the PC community. And of course, it's pretty much impossible to put out console numbers unless the developers do it themselves. But I'm sure if you play on console, at least on the PlayStation side in North America, there's always players online, always players everywhere. And of course, last year, even the report was, while ESO doesn't really make a lot of headlines as some other ESO or some other MMOs on the market, it has been a hugely successful venture for ZeniMax Online. And of course, this was 2024. It says back in April, they learned through a GDC talk that the game had earned around $2 billion in lifetime sales. Since then, other stats have come to light on the subscription side of the game, with the Elder Scrolls Online having earned $15 million per month on average since launch. So since the game was launched in 2014, it has made around $15 million per month. So it's still making plenty of money, and that's really, it's talking about subscriptions. Of course, Crowns would be included in that over the years. Any DLC that's come out, zones, things like that. Of course, now the season pass. But a lot of that to me, if you look at 15 million for the month, you're probably really looking at a lot of that money being Crowns and ESO Plus, because only certain times of the year you're really making big sales when it comes to, the past DLC we've had. So like the yearly DLC launch, the yearly chapter, I could see people going out and buying that yearly chapter and then maybe only playing until they beat that, and then come back the next year and buy the yearly chapter every year. But making 15 million every month since 2014 shows you that there's still a lot of people, even to this day, buying ESO Plus and buying Crowns. So I don't really think Microsoft has a problem with ESO in general, just because they got rid of ZeniMax's other game, which I kind of hate, because now it's been rumored to be more of a adventuring kind of open world idea that's like Destiny, except it was going to be in third person. I think that would have been really cool to have another style looter shooter out there, even though that was in third person and described to be more of a kind of an adventure and an exploration style game, but still a shooter. I think that would have been a really fun, interesting game to see. I know a lot of people have said since that was canceled, they really don't understand, are they going to keep working on ESO? And I'm sure they will, because yes, a lot of people lost their jobs that were working on ESO in the past that went to that new game, but you still have a big group there working on ESO. They've already talked about their plans for doing seasons in the future and how that's going to change even after this year. So I really don't think you're going to have to worry about ESO going anywhere anytime soon. Unfortunately, Microsoft is just one of those companies that's going to get rid of a lot of people over time. They always have. And this year and over the last about 18 or 19 months has been no exception. They've made a lot of cuts in general, but overall Microsoft is a massive company that is one of the biggest money makers in the world, period, company-wise, if not the biggest. So they have a lot of people working for them, not just the gaming division. So I think it's going to be something that's just unfortunate, sadly, when it comes to gaming. That's kind of how it's gotten over the last several years. We all know that games are really expensive to make nowadays, and if they don't succeed, a lot of these developers lose their jobs. A lot of these games get shut down either after launch or before launch, and it's kind of just a cutthroat business in general. But when it comes to the Elder Scrolls Online, I really don't see it going anywhere. I know you may hear a lot of that or read a lot of that, but making that kind of money every month, I think Microsoft's going to be happy with what they're doing, especially when you've made $2 billion in lifetime sales and you're making $15 million per month, and they're going to continue to make money. Now, eventually some games people just kind of quit playing, but you can even take World of Warcraft, for example. It has lost the player count over the years that it used to have, but it's still a game that's been going on for, 20 years now. So I wouldn't be surprised to still see the Elder Scrolls Online still around at year 20. Who knows? We'll kind of have to wait and see. I know a lot of you are also going to be curious about what this holds kind of for the future of Elder Scrolls. What about the Elder Scrolls 6? That's another one that a long time ago I made a video kind of jokingly saying it wouldn't come out to 2030, but that might be kind of more in line now after everything that's gone on. So until then, I think a lot of people are still going to play ESO. There's still a lot of people coming over from Oblivion playing ESO. There's still just a lot of people in general playing ESO. There's one thing I wish they would do, even though you can buy the game for dirt cheap, I wish they would make just the base game absolutely free to play. That way you can get more people in that may not even want to just pay that cheap price. I mean, you usually can find it, at least on the PlayStation side, for less than $20, sometimes 5 to 10 when it's on sale. So if you had the game completely free, at least the base game, I think you would get even more players coming in and buying that ESO Plus, and we may eventually see everything added to ESO Plus. I'm kind of curious if that's the direction they're going to eventually go in, since they're doing away with the chapter plan. In the future, will we just see like a yearly season pass, or will we start seeing actual season passes every like 3 or 4 months? And then just ESO Plus on top of that, or will they just combine everything into ESO Plus eventually? I think that would be a really good idea. You would sell even more of it, in my opinion, for newer players coming in if the game was free and everything was included in ESO Plus. That way, there's no questions, because it is a very confusing thing. And I think that is one thing they do need to work on, is how accessible everything is as a new player. That's always a question I see anywhere, not just my channel, but anywhere on YouTube or forums. Is, I'm a new player, what do I need to buy to have everything? That's always the conversation. So leave me a comment with your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. I know a lot of people, like I said, have been talking about they're worried about ESO. I'm really not, unless something just crazy happens that I can't think of. I really don't see the game going anywhere. I still see it being around for a very long time, and they're still going to have a good team there making content every day. You may have new people come in, but that's just kind of the business of being a gaming developer, sadly. Leave me a comment with your thoughts. Let me know what you think about all of this. And, of course, if you'd like to hit the like. If you hadn't subscribed yet, please do so, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.